Hey everybody, welcome back to the 12th edition of Deck Profile Friday. And I actually have a pretty good deck for you. One that I'm actually super excited about, and it actually has a lot of um, what's called sentimental value to myself because I had actually used the deck, an earlier version of it, to win a Battle Road in the 2008-2009 season. So literally right after Worlds 2008 is when I was playing this deck, and yeah, I won it, and I just love the overall, um, all the card choices, like the whole strategy behind the deck, and just how simple it is and easy to pilot. How easy it is to pilot, pardon me. And I also wanted to just give a big shout out to Alex Brasseau, also known as Big Chuck 101, I believe, for the list. I can't remember exactly if this is his exact list. I may be a card or two off of his, but I can't remember at all. So, yeah, welcome to one of my favorite decks. And without further ado, let's get into the deck profile. So, we are playing a 4-3-4 Kingdra line. This here is the pretty much the star of the deck. This is pretty much what wins games. Um, Pretty solid. Let's go through like the card choices. The horsey there. So we got 50 HP, plus 10 weakness to lightning, which is good. 1 retreat cost, which is average. 2 attacks. The first one colorless. Smoke screen. If the defending Pokemon tries to attack during your opponent's next turn, they flip a coin. If tails, the attack does nothing. Not too bad. The second attack, reverse thrust, which I've actually used before. It does 10 damage, and then you can switch Horsey with one of your bench Pokemon. So this is not too bad, right? If you need to get like a finish off a KO, and you don't have a Kingdra in play, you can use that with the damage addition cards that we have in the deck to get that knockout. So pretty cool. On to Seadra there, 80 HP. Plus 20 weakness to lightning, which is average. 1 retreat cost, which is awesome. And 2 attacks. The first attack for a water aqua pump does 30 damage. And then you may discard up to 2 water energy cards from your hand. If you do, this attack does 10 more damage for each energy card you discarded. So if you discard 2, then you're adding an extra 20 damage to the 30 base, which is 50 damage. And then you have its second attack there, Waterfall, for 2 water and a colorless. It does 50 damage, which is pretty much the same thing, except the big difference between the two is that you don't physically have to power up Seadra to do that 50, right? Which is absolutely amazing. And then we get to the main attacker and the star of the deck, Kingdra here. So just get a nice close up here. 130 HP, weakness to lightning plus 30, which is not too bad. 1 retreat cost, which is absolutely amazing for a stage 2. And 2 actually pretty good attacks for a no cost, so no energy, pardon me. Aqua Stream, it does 10 damage. And then search your discard pile for as many water energy cards as you like. And then show them to your opponent. And then you shuffle them into your deck. And it does 10 damage for each water energy card that you shuffle in. So if you choose to shuffle in 7, then you're doing 70 damage with that attack. And then we get to the attack where you're going to be using the most, right, called Dragon Pump. And the goal of this deck is to be able to hit that on turn 2. And so for 1 water, it does 40 damage. And then you may discard 2 cards from your hand, so you can discard any 2 cards. And if you do, this attack does 40 damage plus 20 more damage, and then does 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So this is a great attack. You get 60 damage for 2 discards, and then the 20 damage to the bench, which the whole purpose of that is to get the other Pokemon in range of a KO for the following few turns, right? Pretty awesome. And you can also discard. So typically with the discard, you want to be able to discard stuff that's not really too great or that's not needed, right? Water energy cards are great choices. Extra clay dolls and ball toys. And then trainer cards that you don't really need, or supporters, right? So there's a lot of options to discard with this. Pretty cool, and that is the Kingdra line. So that's the main attacker of the deck. You should be going through per game, I would say maybe, depending on how close it is, right? If it's a really close game, I can see going through 5, right? And if it's a not so close game, I can probably see you going through like 1 to 3, right? So on to the support Pokemon of the deck. We got a 3 Claydol line, pretty standard. If you're not playing SP, right, you need Claydol. Claydol's just, it's too good, and it makes your deck just that much more consistent. Baltoy there, 50 HP, 1 retreat cost, plus 10 weakness to grass. Pretty good. Psychic Balance, this is the attack that you would be using most of the time. If you have less cards in your hand than your opponent, draw cards until you have the same number as your opponent. Right? And then its second attack there, which you do have an option to use, right? But I can't really see an instance where you're going to be using it, right? Spin turn for 20 and then switch it with one of your bench. And then Claydol there, so 2 retreat, 80 HP, weakness to grass plus 20, which is pretty average for Claydols. Cosmic Power, this is one of the greatest Pokemon powers ever to be created. You can select 2 cards from your hand and put them, up to 2 cards from your hand, and put them onto your deck, underneath your deck, pardon me, in any order. And then if you do, you draw cards until you have 6 in your hand. Right? Pretty awesome. And then spinning attack, that's pretty much the same as spin turn on the Baltoy. You know, you have the option to use it, but you most likely won't be. So that's that. That's the support Pokemon. And then we get to a few card choices here, right? Just to make the deck overall better. To help with more draw and damage output. We got 2 Crobat G, 2 Uxie, and then a Skuntank G. So Crobat G, it's got the Flash Bite Poke Power, which allows you to put 1 damage counter when played from your hand onto your bench on one of your opponent's Pokemon. So this is great for getting those KOs, right, and or prepping a KO for the next turn, and a couple other things too, right? It's got 80 HP, weak to lightning, which is okay. Resistance to fighting, which is actually pretty decent. And then another huge factor with it is its retreat cost is 0, which means it's a perfect switch into after your opponent gets a KO on you. Uxie, 70 HP, plus 20 weakness to Psychic, which is alright. Retreat cost of 1, which is okay. And then another really good Pokepower, one of the best as well. It's even had a few cards printed later on that was based on this card. When you play it from your hand onto your bench, you may draw cards till you have 7. So this is awesome as you go through a lot of cards playing this deck. And then its attack there, Psychic Restore, for 20 damage. it does. And then you can put Uxie and all cards attached to it onto the bottom of your deck. And then we got the Skuntank G. So this is a pretty questionable one here. But it's got a really good poker power because we actually do play a lot of stadiums, right? So if you have a stadium in play, you may use this power. Each active Pokemon, so both of you, are now poisoned, right? So this is a high risk, high reward card here, right? It can help you net a KO, but it can also help your opponent get a KO as well. 80 HP, weak to fighting, and a 2 retreat cost, which is pretty much average for a Skuntank. And then an attack there called Smokescreen. You probably will never use this attack, but if you do, it's pretty much the same thing as the Horsey that we covered earlier. And that's it for the Pokemon of the deck, right? And then we get on to the trainer supporters and stadiums. So we'll go over the supporter lineup first. We got 4 Babes, Baby Search, 4 Roseanne's Research, and then 2 Cynthia's Feelings. So Baby Search gets you your pretty much any Pokemon, but that card there is actually best with Claydol because it reduces your hand size, so therefore you can draw more cards, right? Roseanne's Research is really good. It makes the deck more consistent. It allows you to get the water energy and the Horsey that you need, so you can evolve to that Kingdra on the first or second turn, right? Pretty awesome. Can also grab things like the Crobat there and the Uxie and the Crobat there and the Uxie, as well as the Skuntank. And then lastly, Cynthia's Feelings. So this is actually another decent card here. If any of your Pokemon were knocked out during your opponent's last turn, you can draw 4 more cards in addition to the 4 cards you would have got by playing this card, just as is. So pretty cool. It's either a draw 4 or a draw 8. Pretty cool. And that's it for the supporters. On to the stadiums. So this here is pretty much what makes the deck. And when it came out, it was absolutely amazing. It was amazing for pretty much the whole year that it was in the format. We have 4 Broken Time Space. Like, this is one of the best stadiums ever made, in my opinion. So each player may evolve a Pokemon that he or she just played or evolved during that turn. So you can go from basic to stage 2 in a single turn. So it's absolutely amazing. You want to play 4. You do not want to play less than 4, right? This is why we play a 3 count for Seadra, right? Because it is it's very likely that you will be going that route. Horsey, Seadra, Kingdra. And that's it for these stadiums. Pretty good. And then we go on to the trainers. So this here is one of the coolest parts of the deck here. We got 4 Poketurn. Team Galactic's Invention G105 Poketurn. 3 Luxury Ball. We got 3 Plus Power. We got 3 Rare Candy. 3 Super Scoop Up. And then 1 Night Maintenance. So Poketurn here. A couple reasons for this. It allows you to get that Crobat in your hand that you started with. And then also allows you to use Flash Bite a few times, right? Oh, and the Skuntank as well. Like, if the Skuntank gets active, right, you can just return it to your hand. Pretty awesome. Luxury Ball. So this is a straight 1-for-1 here, right? You play the card, you search for any Pokemon in the deck. Pretty awesome. The downside is that you can only have 1 in your discard pile. So if you draw into the other two, right, then that means you will not be able to play them, which means in terms of the Kingdra, it becomes great discard fodder with it. Plus power and super scoop up, right? So plus power, it adds an additional 10 damage to your attacks. Pretty good. Super scoop up is great for a couple things. It allows you to reuse those Crobat Gs that you played from your hand onto your bench with the help of a coin. And it also allows you to return seriously damaged Kingdras to your hand. And then the next turn, or that turn, right, you just re-evolve it with the help of Broken Time Space. And or another trainer card that we play is Rare Candy as well. So you could play 4 Rare Candy, right? But I don't think it is really too needed. I think between the Broken Time Space, right? With how many candy we have and the Seadra, I think we have enough to get there. And very, very rarely do I whiff on getting that turn 1 or 2 Kingdra. So, and then Night Maintenance as well. Another really good card. You pretty much just shuffle like a Kingdra line back into your deck, or any basic energy, right? Typically, you don't want to use it on basic energy because you have Aqua Stream for it on the Kingdra. But, if you absolutely need to, then you can. Pretty cool. And that is it for the trainer cards. And so lastly, we will get to the energy cards. And their energy count is actually really small, just because we're going to be drawing a lot of cards with the deck. We play 6 water energy and a multi-energy. So the water, pretty much to power up the Kingdra, right? It's also really good with Aqua Stream there, right? You do 60 damage, and then you shuffle them back in, right? And then the multi-energy, so the multi-energy, it's just attack, right? It's just a one-of, but it does allow you to attack with things like Baltoy, Claydol, and Crobat G. Like, if you absolutely need to, right? I don't expect you to be, or I don't expect to be playing that card during every game, right? I would mostly, or pardon me, attack or using those Pokemon every game. I would mainly just use it. If you draw it and you need an energy to use with your Kingdra to attack with that turn, I would just use it as that, right? If it goes to the discard pile, whatever. And that is it for the energy line and the deck profile. So, like I said, this is one of my absolute favorite decks here. I've been playing it for a long time, and it's just really good, right? I'm surprised it didn't have a bigger showing at Worlds, right? I think maybe a few people had played it, and it didn't get that high, right? So, pretty cool. And once again, kind of big thanks to Alex Brosseau, right, for heavily influencing the this deck and piloting it and doing well with it consistently, and it's pretty cool. One other thing I would also want to note is that this year, if you're looking to play 2009, it is actually really cheap to build, right? With Claydol being released in celebrations, going for about like, $1 to $5 Canadian, depending on the seller, right? And these Kingdras, only being a holographic, right? You can buy them in reverse as well. It's actually pretty cheap. And then the trainer cards as well. They're not really too expensive either. So, as for the matchups, right? What comes to mind in 2009, you got Luxape, you've got Flygon variants, right? It all depends, like I've said in my other videos, it all depends on the start, right? Luxray will probably give it a few problems just because of weakness, right? And if they play, and I'm not too sure if they play Lake Boundary, then it does make it a little bit more difficult because they're able to get a one-hit KO on you. But if they don't, then it's a two-hit KO back and forth, right? The advantage for you is that your attacks are super, super cheap. But the disadvantage for you is that you actually have to evolve your Pokemon, right? Whereas they have their Pokemon as a basic, right? Pretty cool. And then Flygon as well. It's a pretty much a two-hit KO game as well. You know, depending on the variant of the Flygon, right? If they're playing like Flygon Machamp or Flygon Torterra, right? With Machamp, it can do. It has the ability to one-hit KO your Kingdras with, I think it's called Hurricane Punch, right? If they get good flips, right? It also has the level X that can buff their damage by 60. Not too bad, but I feel like this is a pretty safe bet to play. So, but yeah, there you go, everybody, and thank you so much for listening and watching this. This is one of my favorites here, and I really hope you test the deck out and see what you think. So awesome, and I will see you on next Monday's deck profile, or pardon me, not deck profile opening video. And then on Wednesday we have some more live gameplay, as well as next Friday with another deck profile. And yeah, that's it. Hopefully everybody has a good family day holiday if you're in Canada, and then just have a good weekend. Everybody to everybody else outside of it. So awesome! Thank you so much, and take care.